Good Friday afternoon. This is KARE 11 News Now. I'm Ken Durdahl. If you have a flight anytime soon, pay attention. Hundreds of flights are being canceled today by the FAA due to reduced staffing levels of air traffic controllers and TSA officers. Those workers, of course, are not being paid because of the government shutdown. MSP is seeing ripple effects with dozens of flights canceled today. Endeavor Air and SkyWest are taking the biggest hit, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. As the government shutdown drags on, expect that number to really take off. NBC's Maggie Vespa has more.
Hey there, from literally the room where it happens, the room where United Airlines is making the calls of which flights to canceling 188 nationwide today alone. And we're seeing similar numbers from the four major airlines. So when you add in Delta, Southwest, and American, we're looking at roughly 680 flights canceled across the country today. Now, the FAA mandating that 4% reduction at 40 high traffic airports nationwide to ease the burden on air traffic controllers who are still working without pay 38 days into the government shutdown. The agency noting if the shutdown drags on, they'll call for more cancellations, up to 10% of flights by next Friday. The goal, they stress, is safety. Now, for their part, airlines stressing at this point that they can absorb these cancellations. They can absorb this government mandate. They say so far they've been able to rebook passengers on other existing flights and waive all fees tied to that. And they add, as this continues on, they plan and they'll work to give all passengers days' notice as these cancellations stack up. Back to you.
We're getting a new view today of the deadly UPS plane crash in Louisville earlier this week. You can see the long path of destruction from that plane that crashed shortly after takeoff. The impact igniting thousands of gallons of fuel, sending a fireball into the sky. In all, 13 people are confirmed dead from the crash, including 3 pilots that were on the plane. And we're told that number is expected to rise. We are 4 days away from a potential teacher strike in Minneapolis, and today educators are back at the negotiating table in an effort to avoid a walkout. As they do, some families across the district plan to hold a rally of their own. The unionized teachers are holding another rally themselves today, their 7th in 2 days. With the deadline approaching, many parents are trying to make sure they have childcare covered. We checked in with Minneapolis Parks, and they are expanding their rec hours and their programming to include arts and crafts for the kids. Many families tell us they don't blame the teachers for the inconvenience. In fact, a group called Minneapolis Families for Public Schools has mobilized hundreds of members whose top priority is smaller class sizes. That's one of the union's top priorities, too. Parents also weighing in, saying they're leaning on each other to get through in the short term.
The thing that we want to impress upon those folks is that we're fighting for those kids' schools. We're fighting because we love those students and we love the job we do.
I have worked really hard to have, especially as a single mom, I think, to have a community of parent resources that I can call on, that I can text at any time and be like, I don't have childcare for such and such. Can we figure this out?
Developing now, we're tracking SNAP benefits after a federal judge ruled the White House has to pay states their full benefits by today. The judge says the White House is in violation of an earlier order to pay in full as soon as possible. Earlier this week, the Trump administration said it would only fund up to 65% during the government shutdown. The Justice Department says it's appealing the ruling. As SNAP recipients wait for those benefits to show up in their accounts, Hennepin County is carving out $2 million in funding to help food banks that serve people in the county. In Hennepin County, 110,000 people receive an average of $180 in SNAP benefits each month. While SNAP recipients anxiously await for their benefits amid the government shutdown, businesses are stepping up to help as well. Shakopee Bowl is one of them, and as Heidi Wigdahl reports, the reason why is personal.
At Shakopee Bowl, the first thing you see is a familiar phrase.
If you build it, they will come.
In the world of sport. And they have been coming for the past 7 years.
Yeah, we have a big area.
Dave Johnson lives 2 blocks away.
It was empty and nobody was coming here. In June of 2018, the bowling alley had announced that it was going to be closing. And a friend and I, neighbor, came up with the crazy idea to buy Louisville lanes.
They went from 16 employees to 110.
Everyone here is so nice, so welcoming.
I like this a lot because it's great business.
Welcome to the bathroom. These are brand new.
Every detail has a goal.
So if you're going to build something, you might as well make it fun.
Before this, Dave built and remodeled houses.
You've never worked in a bar, you've never worked in a bowling alley. I have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm getting myself into, other than I know I can do it. I know I have a vision.
Ever since, he's been building on that vision. Beyond the bowling lanes, there's an arcade, 2 wiffle ball fields.
It's a blast out here in the summertime.
Volleyball courts with Florida palm trees.
Any refills over here?
And enough tables to seat nearly 200 people. They're known for hosting charitable giving events. So it was right up their alley when SNAP benefits were paused.
We have a kids menu, and if they order a cheeseburger off of the kids menu, they get a cheeseburger, an applesauce, and a kids drink. And we don't ask. It's just zero price on our menu right now. That way somebody doesn't have to come in and ask for the special. It's just that's what we do.
Since it started Saturday, Dave says many families have come in.
I was raised by a single dad, 5 kids, and we didn't know where the next meal was coming from. I had to raise myself. And I know that there's families out there and parents out there. They don't want to ask for help, but they need it.
If you build it, they will come.
You know, the vision was here and we built it and people are coming here.
Next up, Shakopee Bowl is opening an ice cream parlor in about 2 weeks. For Behind the Business, I'm Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
Speaking of business, Target's quest to turn around lagging sales will apparently involve smiling more. Yes, you heard me correctly. According to Bloomberg, the company just rolled out a new rule for store employees called the 10-4 program. It directs employees to, yes, smile, make eye contact, and wave when a shopper comes within 10 feet. If a shopper gets closer, around 4 feet, the employee is supposed to ask if they need help or how their day is going. Walmart has a similar 10-foot rule that's been in place for years, where employees are meant to wave or smile at customers within 10 feet. If you're driving in Minneapolis today, be warned. The city says it's sending out tickets from its new speed cameras starting now. The city says new data from the speed camera pilot shows the number of drivers going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit dropped by 30% during the first month of the program. It says the number of people driving more than 20 over dropped more than 75%. For the last month, the city has only been sending warnings with those tickets. Officials say tickets from these cameras will not go on your record. Just days after announcing its belly up, bankruptcy filings are revealing just how much trouble Minnesota Rusco is in. More than $100 million in debt. And now a lot of customers and vendors are wondering if they'll ever see the money or the work they're owed. When it was time to invest in his home,
we were going to get 2 new doors.
Adam Beck went with what he thought was a longtime local company with a catchy jingle.
Minnesota Rusco since 1955.
But since 2022, Minnesota Rusco has been owned by Renovo Home Partners in Texas. And last week, it and its 15 affiliates suddenly closed.
I still haven't heard anything from the company. We're kind of on our own to figure things out.
Adam had just made a $5,000 down payment on his doors, only to be left in the dark. And in the past few days, even the company's website went dark. And now, according to a new bankruptcy filing, he appears to be one of hundreds of creditors in a similar position. Minnesota Rusco and those affiliates filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, listing between $100 and $500 million in debts and less than $10 million in assets.
Based on the assets they have to liquidate and the amount of debt that they have, there's no way that they'll be able to, repay us or, almost everyone.
Minnesota's Attorney General is encouraging customers to file complaints anyway, and the Department of Labor and Industry has posted information about a contractor recovery fund that could eventually pay out up to $550,000 total, split among those impacted.
It's my understanding that there has to be some kind of litigation or ruling against the company in order to apply for that fund.
It can be a year, maybe 2 years before you get maybe 10 cents on the dollar if you're owed money or projects are getting done. So that's just not something we want to see people go through. And the cool part is contractors all over the Twin Cities have reached out and are trying to help.
Andy Lindis, owner of Lindis Construction, says he also had an offer to sell to Renovo, but didn't. And now he's one of several contractors working to clean up the mess left behind.
And vendors are also on board trying to help out as much as possible in every single situation.
William Schvetz says his company, Key Prime Roofing and Remodeling in Golden Valley, will provide exterior work at cost to any Rusco customer they can who may be out money.
We want to help our local community. We want to restore that trust in the local contractors that exists.
The Twin Cities contractors are just the best group of contractors I've ever had a chance to work with.
And Andy himself has already personally offered to work with Adam,
which we're super, super grateful for and may, explore options like that. But right now we're just trying to get the money back.
Now, both of these companies have set up ways for Minnesota Rusco customers to reach them directly, and we've posted that information online. Let it snow. Look at this. Trollhaugen is testing their snow guns to start blanketing their slopes for the season. They say if this weekend's forecast holds, they'll be able to do just that. Last year, Trollhaugen opened for the season at the end of November. Stick with us. More news and weather's coming up after the break.